Hi, everyone. My name is Desireina Delancy, and I belong to the Faculty of Science and Technology within the Department of Life Sciences. And I'm a graduate student pursuing a PhD in zoology. In April, I had the pleasure of accompanying a group of experts in their area to Scotland. And we did a collaboration, should I say, more of a partnership with the University of Glasgow, in specific, the Ontario Museum, to repatriate the giant Galliwasp. Now, the Jamaican giant Galliwasp is a reptile. It's a lizard. And a lot of persons might be wondering, well, why did all these persons from the University of the West Indies Mona campus, the regional headquarters, and the Institute of Jamaica IOJ went to Scotland to get a lizard? Well, it has more significance than that. And allow me to explain. So this lizard is about 170 years. And throughout colonization, a lot of different animals were introduced for control methods. Because of colonization and the focus being on monocrop agriculture, we introduced a lot of new species in Jamaica, like the mongoose, to control some of the things that they consider to be pests. And with the introduction of mongoose, what happened was that the giant Jamaican Galliwasp, the population began dwindling, and it is now said to be extinct. So with us going to Scotland and getting this specimen, it is significant because we now have a specimen here in Jamaica because we didn't before. And why we didn't before? Because there was a fire at IOJ that destroyed some of those specimens that we would have had. So now having one of those in Jamaica meant that we can now use this to educate the generations now and those to come. And there is this great saying, out of sight, out of mind. And it is important to be able to teach this generation and the other generations to come about our identity, because this giant Galliwasp is only found here in Jamaica. It's endemic to Jamaica, and it is something that we should be proud of. But outside of that, there were many other opportunities that I was able to experience and benefit from firsthand. Now, honestly, before going to this exhibition, I had no real understanding of what kind of things people repatriate or things that people will consider meaningful enough to repatriate. And in my understanding, I was just like, it's mostly artifact, things of religious values that people really pride themselves in. So going there, I realized that the Ontario Museum, the University of Glasgow, is taking it a step further and allowing people to understand that giving back zoological specimens is also as equally important as giving back things that are meaningful to person's identity and culture and religious views. So it was important to see the work globally that's being done on repatriation. And it was really touching to see how passionate people are. And one of the things that set this whole thing into motion was a curator. She's not necessarily a curator, but an activist of change, an activist of really looking at problems, sitting in the discomfort and coming up with practical solutions. And her name is Zandra, and she created the curation of discomfort. And with that discomfort curation displayed at the Ontario Museum, the Jamaican Galliwasp was there. And one of the zoologists in the department, Mike, reached out. He reached out. And I think that is also significant because sometimes, as I said, out of sight, out of mind, we didn't really consider finding out where we could get one of these specimens from. And he reached out, and I think that was significant because now it also allows us to realize that sometimes we have to be the change that we want to see, If there are things that we also don't have, perhaps now it creates the space for us to write to these different institutions, for these other institutions to write to us. Because with this experience, a lot of memorandums of understanding and MOs and so forth will be signed. And I think it is the first of many to come for this region. And I think it's powerful because it's really going to make a significant difference in the way we look at repatriation. But outside of that, I was able to network with some like-minded individuals, entomologists, because I rarely focus on insects and vector-borne insects to be specific. And I was able to network with these persons, and I was just able to change my view, my perspective of life, you know, and it's really important sometimes to leave where you are and go to our other space to see how things are being done there. And, I'm a woman in STEM. I'm a young scientist in STEM. And there's so many opportunities outside of just hardcore lab work that you are able to benefit from if you become a graduate student in the Faculty of Science and Technology. Because I don't think when I signed up for this program, I would have thought that I would be going on a trip to Scotland to repatriate a lizard. So yes, it was a lizard, but it really set off the motion of so many other great network and meaningful connections that could help with my research, that could help my fellow, graduate students in the department. And I think that is what really was impactful about this trip. And of course, being able to also network with like-minded individuals in this space that have been doing it for so many years. I was able to go on this trip with my supervisor, which was to me also a very special moment. And I was able to learn from them, just sit with them and understand how to do things, and it was just incredible. The experiences, the meaningful, conversations that were shared, it was life changing. And I think going on this repatriation trip has made me, gain a new understanding of what it means to identify with something. And I feel like it is going to be an educational opportunity for many, because some persons would have completely forgotten about this specimen. But it's just a beautiful organic thing. And I think this whole trip was just so organic. The persons at the University of Scotland, they are so incredible, and we must thank them because they were such incredible hosts. And of course, I must also acknowledge the student affairs, the global student affairs, who paid for this trip and made it possible for me to accompany these group of experts. And it really was something special, I must say. And I'm really looking forward to it being fully launched and being available for other Jamaicans, and not just Jamaicans, but persons within the wider Caribbean region and surrounding diasporas to visit and look at.